Hey guys, welcome back. My name's Stu, and this is Lightning Peaks for Rollercoaster Tycoon Classic. The beautiful mountains of Lightning Peaks are popular with walkers and sightseers. Use the available land to attract a new thrill-seeking clientele. Your objective: to have at least 900 guests in your park at the end of October Year 3 with a park rating of at least 600. So it's not a very high goal then, but the difficulty with this scenario is not the goal itself, it's the terrain that you have to work with. So we've got, is that one or two? Obviously two, considering the one I clicked on was Lightning Chairlift 2. So we've got two chairlifts. I'm going to get rid of the second one. I will keep or rework the first one, we'll say. I don't like the path on the way up, so we'll probably do something with that. That is a bit of a maze of path in there, so we'll rejig that. Let's look to see what we've got. That's the only transport ride. Decent selection of gentle rides, decent selection of coasters. Not a great selection of thrill rides. We've got some boats. Have we got? We've got water, but it's difficult to get to. And not a great selection of shops. So all in on shops to begin with then, whilst I do all those little tinkering things that I said I was going to do. So it's not a high goal. So we can afford to take our time a little, making the scenery look nice, that sort of thing. And hopefully, once we do start building, the guest numbers will take care of themselves. October Year 1. So only 370 guests, because we have been spending a lot of time on the scenery and things like that. And I think the place looks pretty nice so far. So we've got a Ferris wheel and the chairlifts at the start there. And then coming up then, we've got a merry-go-round, we've got a twist, we've got a spiral slide just there. So we've got food and drink stalls as well. And then we've got the second station up there. I'm not 100% certain I'm going to keep it like this. I might rejig it slightly. We are maxed out on the lawn, trying to do the little bits of terraforming. Not huge amounts, just enough to make the pathing look tidy. So we are going to need to put down some sort of profit coaster. I figure we'll do a looping coaster just for now, just for nowsies. We'll use it as a placeholder, so we'll do a simple design, charge a lot of money for it, and eventually what we'll do is we'll change it. We'll make a nicer design out of it. But in order to do that, we need it to rain, so we can benefit from that filthy umbrella cash. Yeah, so what we're going to have to try and do as well is try to build path loops on here, ones that look nice, ones that look like they could work. If you don't care about the way it looks, which I probably didn't the first time I played it, then this scenario would be absolutely no problem at all. But if you want to take your time and you want something that actually looks quite nice, then yeah, you're probably going to struggle with guests like I'm doing as well. So as you can see, we're researching thrill rides. So we've got more than enough shops for everyone to enjoy. So yeah, let's crack on, and hopefully we'll get a little bit of rain. October Year 2. So it's been fairly slow going. We've only got 600 guests. Not even that, to be honest. We're a little short of that. So we put down my classic loops design coaster just there. I will extend it at some point. I might keep it as a shuttle. I've got this idea in my head that the rear spike could sort of interact with the station up here. Maybe the drop tower, and then the front then could launch it down here or something. I'm not sure yet. It's just something in the back of my mind. So we've got a drop tower just there, launches up next to the chairlift. I got an idea that the people on the chairlift would be, think it was quite cool. People launching up, and the people on the launch tower would think it's quite cool that they got the people on the chairlifts, that sort of thing. So I've kept the station the way it was, sort of done something a little more interesting with that tower. But I've done like one way made it like a one-way entry system, so guests have to go all the way around. They won't get stuck. We've got paths coming down, got a little bridge there, we've got a top spin, a couple more stalls. So we are going to be trying to work our way up. We do need more rides, drastically though. We are having complaints about overcrowding. Let's see if we can see any. There you go, it's too crowded here, only 17. So what I've done to help combat that is I've upped the number of laps on this to 3, just so that the guests that are in the queue are in there for a little bit longer. It's broken down now, obviously, typically, because I'm recording, so it would. But yeah, this is, I think, for year 3 then, we need to switch our research into roller coasters, because the ones that we've got don't really lend themselves to the terrain. Yeah, so we only need 303 guests, so we should be all right. And then I can imagine me having to play on a little bit after that, because there's no way I'm going to be able to make the park look how I'd like it to look in the next year. So yeah, let's crack on. October, year 3. So we had the warning saying guests again lost or stuck. My rating tanked, and I realized what it was. It was simply that some of the path loops I had done were, not very sensible. So these ones in particular, I've blocked them off now with no entry signs, so guests can't get into them. So what was happening is the guests that were on those paths wanted to leave. So they were heading down this way onto those paths because they want to go towards the gate down here, but they haven't got the smarts. They just haven't got the pathfinding ability to realize that they need to go back away from the exit in order to get to the exit, if that makes sense. So I've blocked them off. I'll probably end up maybe deleting these because I can't keep them like that, because it will just end up back the way it was. Is the rating going back up? Not quite yet. Now it is. Okay, so if we're fine then, the rating's going up. That's cool. If not, I think what I would have done is I would have reverted back to the save that I had, and then I would have looked in. There you go. Find all the guests that want to go home, and then just pick them up one at a time, and then drop them by there, like that. So they leave, and they take their negativity with them. Because once they go off the map, that negativity will vanish. Yeah, so let's have a quick look then. I think the park looks all right the way it is. Well, in fact, what I've done so far, I like. I like this way going all the way up. I like the little sort of concrete plinth type things on the what do you call them, the chairlift struts, but still have to rejig the looping coaster. We've got a wild mouse just down here. It did actually crash in testing. That's okay. It was only in testing. Some idiot forgot to put the chain lift pieces on the bits that were meant to be chain lift. So it was coming up this bit and then just falling back. Yeah, so it comes out, drops down through the supports for the pathing, up and over the shops, into the hill, and then it just sort of works its way back. We've got a swinging inverter ship up here. I normally like to build them in pairs, but we just haven't really got the space for it at the moment. And then we've got path loops just up here. This is what I was working on last when I had the warning, just up here. So we've got some space now to build more things in. We've got a 3D cinema just there. I made the queue line probably a bit too long, so I guess we're complaining. So I've got an entertainer in there, keeping them happy. So yeah, we're okay. The park's not great, I'll admit it, but hopefully we'll spend a little bit more time working on it, and we can fill it out a bit more and make it sort of suitable for the video. Because at the moment it's very bare bones. There's not a lot in it. We've got 2 coasters. Neither one of them are good enough for a POV. Yeah, so we've got the red arrow next to the guest numbers, but that's because all those guests that were sort of stuck have now leaving. But the guest number's actually going up, so it's just the amount of guests spawning must be. I was going to say must be huge, but there's only one person just came in. Oh, there you go. A few more. Now we've got the green arrow. It's not often you go straight from the red arrow to the green arrow. So yeah. So the goal is no problem. The real challenge is doing it whilst the park looks decent, and I think it does so far, and at least it will look a lot better when I'm done. So anyway, let's get the clappy bit over and done with, and then I can start work on finishing the park off. So let's run it on fast forward for a little bit. There goes Halloween, and we've done it. Stew, awesome sauce. Right then. So now I'm going to carry on. I'm going to rejig those coasters. I'm going to start filling the place out. Ooh, flawless coaster. See what we've got before we start. Okay. That could be handy because we can do a shuttle out of that. Flawless coaster is going to be tough to get something that looks nice on you. And the vertical drop will be handy as well. So yeah, I'm gonna get to work. I will see you soon. August year 5, and I think the park is finished. I've just been around filling up the blank areas. It does need a lot more flat rides and things like that, but honestly, on a park with terrain like this, the flat rides are harder to build than the actual coasters. Okay, so I've also renamed or named some of the coasters that I didn't previously. So this is Mountain Mouse. Decent stats on that. And then what was the placeholder Looper coaster, we replaced that. So I was going to do a shuttle, but then I thought, you know what? Since I'm going to have the tail coming up here somewhere, and I'm going to have the front coming up here somewhere, why don't we just build a coaster and have it going around the outside of the park? So that is what we've done, and we've gone for the flawless coaster. So it's got a very long chain lift going up. We got rid of the paths that were causing problems down here, and just replace them with queue and exit paths really. And then we've got a mini coaster just here. It's called Castle Crypt, because you never guess what happened. Whilst we were moving things around and excavating, we discovered an old cave system underneath the hill. Cave / mining sort of system. What are the chances of that? I mean, okay, so it kind of happens on every single park we do, but I mean, the chances, it's astronomical, surely. And then, oh, it's going to rain. Let's skip the rain. Okay, rain skipped. So, the flawless coaster then. Check out the stats. It's called Dragon. Nice high stats. Comes up, drops down. We've got a barrel roll, a little turny roundy bit, and then we've got a serpent roll, and then we got another barrel roll, a little interaction with the vertical drop coaster, which I haven't shown you, but I will. Then we got another barrel roll over the station of the vertical coaster, and then we've got like a little break run block section, and then it drops down into the station, because it was kind of tricky to get it to connect up without having to remove and rejig the station, and I wanted to reuse it as much as possible. And then over here then we've got the vertical drop coaster, which is called Eagle's Nest. In hindsight, maybe not the best idea, but everywhere's got eagles and stuff, so especially up in the mountains. So yeah, it comes up, drops down, goes around the tower and the flawless coaster, and then comes back. We've got a loop then, and then we've got a bit of spaghetti at the back, and then it comes back to the station. Pretty cool. And then we had this huge section in the middle that was pretty much empty, so I've just instead filled it with a looping coaster. So it's called the Giant. Every mountain range needs a giant myth, and this one's no different. So it boosts out, down, we've got a loop, up, under the bridge, loop, some twists and turns, comes back. It's very fast. So initially I did set it to the maximum speed, and then I just reduced it down, and then it was going a little bit too slow when it was coming to the back end, so I just upped it slightly, and now it's a nice sort of happy medium between being maybe a little bit too fast at the start and maybe being a little too slow at the back. So yeah, as I said, it could do with a lot of flat rides and things around here, but with the terrain, it would just take so long to build, and yeah, that's time we could be spending cracking on with a new video. And let's face it, it's the coasters that people really care about. So I think all in all, the park, zoom in so we got the better resolution, I think all in all, the park turned out pretty well. A lot nicer than it began anyway. So I do like this section going all the way up. You've got the chairlift if you don't want to walk. What would be cool in in Legoland in Windsor, London, they've got, it's on top of a hill as you come in, and then you have to go down the hill to get to the main park. And there's three, I think I've told you this before, there's three ways. There's a path to the left, a path to the right, and then there's a funicular. So that's like a gravity sort of railway where as one train goes down, it pulls the other one up. So if you go to the path on the left-hand side, not only is it just the path going all the way down, they've also got slides. So you can slide part of the way down, and then you pick up another bit of path, and then you slide a bit more. It's pretty good, even as an adult. Yeah, so what shall we look at first? I don't know. Maybe the Wild Mouse is a little dull. Okay, probably the mini coaster, at least for the bit until it goes underground. Yeah, so this has been Lightning Peaks. I have been Lightning Stew. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.